Hey y'all, welcome back to Art Science Wonder. Today I'm going to be talking about primarily everything space and space related because obviously we had the recent rocket launch by SpaceX that was successful in collaboration with NASA, and then also we have the solar eclipse today. So that's why I'm wearing my funny shirt because that says I survived the 2017 solar eclipse for those listening. And it has glasses, the solar eclipse glasses, because, it's kind of funny how, a certain somebody in public office maybe didn't use them and try to look at the eclipse. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you get the joke. So anyway, today I'm going to be going over the solar eclipse, some things about the ISS, some cool things about space discoveries, CERN, all that jazz. Okay, so let's get into it. The first one is going to be on the International Space Station and how it's about to get an upgrade. This one was written on June 16th, 2020, obviously, by Mike Wenner. Don't know if I pronounced his name right. The International Space Station is an incredibly high-tech spacecraft. It's packed with advanced instruments, and the fact it's basically a floating science lab should tell you all you need to know about how important it is to NASA, the European Space Agency, and Russia's Roscosmos. But like any machine, it needs some love every now and then, and a couple of spacewalks will provide the ISS with some much needed upgrades. NASA just released a schedule for its upcoming spacewalks. The first will take place on June 26th and the other will happen on July 1st. During both excursions, astronauts will be tasked with the swapping out old and outdated batteries with new higher capacity batteries. Both spacewalks will be conducted by NASA astronauts Chris Cassidy and Robert Behnken. The International Space Station uses a significant amount of power, and it's equipped with a solar array to generate that power. However, because the space station completes over a dozen trips around the Earth every single day, the spacecraft is often shrouded within the shadow cast by our planet. During those dark moments, the space station maintains its steady power supply by using juice that it saved in its batteries. The old outdated nickel-hydrogen batteries are in need of replacement, and work on the project began 3 years ago. It takes several spacewalks to replace the many batteries affixed to the exterior of the ISS with the new lithium-ion versions. So, I'm going to move on to the next one. You can read the rest of that. I will have it linked in the comment section below. Of course, like always, I link to all of the resources in this video. Okay, Commstar will launch a relay satellite to talk to astronauts on the moon. It could be ready by 2023. This is the next article. This one is written by Christine Fisher on June 16th, 2020. Okay. NASA plans to return humans to the moon by 2024, but there is still plenty of questions about how that will work. One challenge is that communicating between Earth and the moon still requires bulky, expensive equipment. A new company, Commstar Space Communications, wants to take the burden off building and managing that equipment off of the government and private space ventures. Today, Commstar announced plans to launch a private data relay satellite, Commstar 1, that could serve as communications infrastructure for space missions. The company hopes to launch Commstar 1 by 2023. The satellite will be capable of relaying optical and radio frequencies communications between the moon and Earth, and eventually it could facilitate communications beyond the moon. Wow, how cool. So probably Mars. In theory, by using Commstar 1, governments and other private space ventures will be able to focus more resources on other aspects of their missions. In this way, Commstar is following in the footsteps of SpaceX, which just ferried its first NASA astronauts to the International Space Station. Commstar 1 is a major step by the private sector in accelerating the transition of the government out of building and operating taxpayer-funded communications infrastructure in favor of a new role as customer. The company wrote in a press release. Commstar is working with Thales Alenia Space to design the first satellite with plans to eventually operate a new network of communication satellites. So that was that article. The next one is going to be green glow detected in Mars's atmosphere. And I forgot to name the sources, so I apologize, but this one was just from the Smithsonian Magazine. The emerald light resembles the glow emitted in Earth's atmosphere. This is an artist's rendering of green air glow on Mars, depicts the European Space Agency's trace gas orbiter in the foreground. It is by Nora McGreevy, written on June 18, 2020. The red planet's atmosphere glows green, scientists announced this week. Scientists have long known that Earth's upper atmosphere glows a bright emerald shade and have photographed the phenomenon known as airglow from the International Space Station. But spotting the airglow on Mars is the first time the phenomenon has been detected on a planet other than Earth, reports Jonathan Amos for BBC News. The European Space Agency's ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter spotted Mars's upper atmosphere emitting a greenish glow, it announced this week in a statement. The team published a study featuring their discovery in the journal Nature Astronomy this week. This emission has been predicted to exist at Mars for around 40 years, and thanks to TGO, we found it, says Jean-Claude Gerard, lead author to the study, in the statement. So there's a photo, of course, now of Mars, and it says this photo is taken aboard the International Space Station in 2011. Shows Earth, sorry, not Mars. Earth's multicolored airglow, a bright bubble of light that appears in Earth's upper atmosphere. Okay, that makes sense because the other one was a rendering. So, scientists scanned Mars' atmosphere with a specialized spectrometer at altitudes between 12 and 250 miles above its surface, reports Mike Ball for Space.com. They discovered a green glow at all heights with an especially strong light emitted at 50 miles above the planet's surface. It's a nice result, Manish Patel, who operates the TGO's Nomad instrument for detecting ultraviolet and visible light, tells BBC News. You'd never plan a mission to go look for this kind of thing. Today, we have to be very clear about the science we're going to do before we get to Mars. But having got there, we thought, well, let's have a look, and it worked. Earth's upper atmosphere, or its limb, emits light as its molecules interact in complex ways with the Earth's surface and energy from the sun. During the day, energy from sunlight excites the molecules of nitrogen and oxygen at the Earth's upper atmosphere. So the molecules emit light to get rid of excess energy and fall back to their normal state. The ionosphere, or the region roughly 50 to 400 miles above Earth's surface, glows different colors depending on the composition of gases in layers of green, purple, yellow, and red, according to the NASA statement about airglow from 2018. The brightest airglow happens during nighttime, when collisions between oxygen molecules create a bright green glow. And there's a really good informational video that's included in this that I watched, and it was great. So, I'm going to leave it at that. You guys can watch the video. It's really good. So the next one is by physics.org. It was published on June 18th, 2020. It is called Scientists Reveal a Lost 8 Billion Light Years of Universe Evolution. And there's an artistic impression. So, last year, the Advanced LIGO Virgo Gravitational Wave Detector Network recorded data from 35 merging black holes and neutron stars. A great result, but what did they miss? According to Dr. Rory Smith from the ARC Center of Excellence in Gravitational Wave Discovery at Monash University in Australia, it's likely there are another 2 million gravitational wave elements from merging black holes. A pair of merging black holes every 200 seconds, and a pair of merging neutron stars every 15 seconds that scientists are not picking up. Dr. Smith and his colleagues, also at Monash University, have developed a method to detect the presence of these weak or background events that to date have gone unnoticed. Without having to detect each one individually, the method, which is currently being test-driven by the LIGO University, means that we may be able to look more than 8 billion light years further than we were currently observing, Dr. Smith said. This will give us a snapshot of what the early universe looked like while providing insights into the evolution of the universe. The paper recently published in the Royal Astronomical Society journal details how researchers will measure the properties of a background of gravitational waves from the millions of unresolved black hole mergers. Binary black hole mergers release huge amounts of energy in the form of gravitational waves and are now routinely being detected by the Advanced LIGO Virgo Detector Network. That was such a huge breakthrough, everybody. I mean, I'm sure you remember. I think it was like back in 2015 or something. It was a while ago, I think. Yeah, it was just phenomenal to actually detect gravitational waves. Like, wow. And you know, it was always only hypothesized and so on, and it means like possibly so much. And in the way that we don't understand yet about our universe. And it's great. And it's also like a little bit interesting too, because it means that not everything is particle physics, which at one point we were really, you know, even considering a graviton, and which maybe we'll still find a graviton, but I think that's a little bit silly and always have. So, but we'll see. So, we're still looking for dark matter. According to co-author Eric Thorane from OSGrav Monash, these gravitational waves generated by individual binary mergers carry information about space-time and nuclear matter in the most extreme environments in the universe. Individual observations of gravitational waves trace the evolution of stars, star clusters, and galaxies, he said. So then there's an artistic impression of the background hum of gravitational waves permeating through the universe. It says, by piecing together information from many merger events, we can begin to understand the environments in which stars live and evolve, and what causes their eventual fate as black holes. The further away we see the gravitational waves from these mergers, the younger the universe was when they formed. When we can trace the evolution of stars and galaxies throughout cosmic time, back to when the universe was a fraction of its current age. The researchers measured population properties of binary black hole mergers, such as the distribution of black hole masses. The vast majority of compact binary mergers produce gravitational waves that are too weak to yield unambiguous detections, so vast amounts of information is currently missed by our observatories. Moreover, interferences made about the black hole population may be susceptible to a selection bias due to the fact that we only see a handful of the loudest, most nearby systems. Selection bias means we might only be getting a snapshot of black holes rather than the full picture, Dr. Smith warned. The analysis developed by Smith and Thorane is being tested using real-world observations from LIGO Virgo detectors with the program expected to be fully operational within a few years, according to Dr. Smith. Okay, that one felt a little long because I read the whole thing. And so the next one is also going to be about black holes. Okay guys, so just in case you're watching, I decided to get rid of my video because I realized I was slouching while I was reading the articles. So since I might be being silly and not knowing it, I'm going to turn my videos off, or my video webcam off, while I'm reading. And then I'll see you at the beginning and probably the end of every video. Otherwise, yeah. Okay, so this one is by International Business Times, and it is titled NASA Spots Thousands of Black Holes Near Milky Way's Center. It's written by Inigo Monson. I cannot pronounce the name, I'm so sorry. And it says, NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory was able to find evidence indicating that about 1,000 new black holes exist near the center of the Milky Way galaxy. The agency explained that this finding supports the theories about black holes moving towards the center of Earth's neighborhood. The center of Milky Way is inhabited by a supermassive black hole known as Sagittarius A, according to scientific reports. This black hole was about 4 million times the mass of the Sun. While gazing at the areas surrounding Sagittarius A, the Chandra X-ray Observatory came across traces of smaller black holes. According to NASA, the objects are only stellar mass black holes, which are significantly smaller than their supermassive counterparts. The agency estimated that the newly discovered black holes near the center of Milky Way could have about 5 to 30 solar masses. This black hole boundary consists of stellar mass black holes, which typically weigh between 5 to 30 times the mass of our Sun. NASA explained in a statement, these newly identified black holes were found within 3 light years. Wow. A relatively short distance on cosmic scales of the supermassive black hole at our galaxy center, known as Sagittarius A. The agency noted that Chandra's latest finding supports the various theories about movement of black holes. Many of these theories indicate that up to 20,000 stellar mass black holes could move towards the center of the galaxy around its supermassive black hole. According to NASA, Chandra was able to spot signs of the black holes through their X-ray emissions. Even though black holes are generally invisible, they still give off signs that indicate their presence. These include X-ray emissions, which are produced as a black hole heats up and devours cosmic materials. A black hole by itself is invisible. However, a black hole or a neutron star locked in close orbit with a star will pull gas from its companion. Astronomers call these systems X-ray binaries. NASA stated, this material falls into a disk and heats up to millions of degrees and produces X-rays before disappearing into the black hole. Some of these X-ray binaries appear as point-like sources in the Chandra image. So there's a cool image. And then that's the end of the article. So the next one is somewhat related as well. It's CERN wants to build a new 23 billion super collider that is 100 kilometers long. And it was weirdly published on CNET, but it's well written, so who cares, right? Okay, so CERN wants to build a successor to the Large Hadron Collider to further study the Higgs boson particle. This is by Mark Searles, and it was published June 22nd, 2020. A visitor takes a phone photograph of a large black backlit image of the Large Hadron Collider at the Science Museum's Collider exhibition on November 12, 2013 in London, England. So there was a picture there. The Large Hadron Collider, at 27 kilometers in length, is currently the world's highest energy particle collider. It's also literally the largest machine ever built by human hands. But CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research behind the collider, is planning to build a second, even larger collider. This one could end up being 100 kilometers, almost 4 times the size, and may cost up to $23 billion to produce. The collider will be used to further study the Higgs boson particle, a particle that was theorized by Peter Higgs and 5 other scientists back in 1964, and essentially discovered as a particle back in 2012 using the Large Hadron Collider. After the plan was approved by an independent panel in March, the CERN Council approved plans to build a Large Hadron Collider on June 19th. I don't know why I was on today's 20th. I guess so many 20s, right? All right. So I think it's a historic day for CERN and particle physics in Europe and beyond, said CERN Director General Fabiola Ginotti. Now all that remains is paying for it, but raising $23 billion is no easy task, but there is plenty of time to figure that out. CERN is hoping to start construction in 2038. The Large Hadron Collider took a decade to build and cost around $4.75 billion. Most of that money came from the European countries like Germany, the UK, France, and Spain. Some believe that countries like the US and Japan might need to pony up for the second collider if it's actually going to get built. All right, so we'll see if it happens. I think it'd be great. I definitely think we need one. We need to understand more about our universe. A lot of people are like, "Oh my God, that's so much money," and people are hungry and stuff, and that is true. That is definitely true. We need to take better care of our people. But we also must advance science. Absolutely must. So, otherwise, how are we going to get off this planet? How are we going to survive if catastrophe happens? But we'll see. Maybe we won't even survive the next decade. So things are very uncertain right now. Okay, so the next one is on the website bgr.com. And it's a science portion of the website. It says NASA wants you to help it navigate the surface of Mars. This is a fun one. This is the one we'll end on. So Mars is an incredibly interesting place, not only for scientists, but for casual science lovers and space fans in general. And I apologize, I forgot to mention who wrote this article. It's by Mike Wenner. Again, I think he was in another article earlier. On June 21st, 2020. So Mars is an incredibly interesting place, not only for scientists, but for casual science lovers and space fans in general. With the Curiosity rover hanging around on the red planet's surface, we're regularly treated to some really stunning images, but actually participating in the mission isn't usually possible for the vast majority of us. That just changed. NASA just launched a new program called A1 for Mars. That allows anyone, or maybe it's actually AI for Mars, sorry. That allows anyone and everyone to help guide the Curiosity rover on its journey across the planet. You can access the tool through your web browser, and it's an incredibly cool way to burn a few minutes while helping further humanity's knowledge of our nearest Earth-like neighbor. Now, you won't be able to actually steer the rover yourself. That would be ridiculous, and NASA obviously can't trust a bunch of random people to make good decisions with its priceless piece of Mars exploring hardware. However, the AI for Mars tool does let you label various pieces of the Martian terrain. You can label rocks, sand, soil, and other features that the rover should either gravitate towards or attempt to avoid. So your labels will be fed into the database along with observations from others using the same tool. After crunching all the data, the program should have a consensus on what the rover is seeing. This will help NASA's Curiosity team and the rover itself to better understand what it sees. NASA describes the AI for Mars effort as follows. You'll be using your superior cognitive and artistic abilities to label images from the Curiosity rover, collectively creating the first open source navigation classification dataset of the red planet. It will be used, like Cityscapes dataset, by teams to train rovers to understand Martian environments, laying the way for future missions to unlock the secrets of our nearest neighbor. Sorry, I may have said that a little bit confusingly. I hope not. So it's a pretty cool way to contribute to NASA's Mars missions without having to be smart enough to get a job at the space agency. We all know we'd fall short. That's what they said in the article. NASA's Perseverance rover is currently scheduled for launch on July 20th. The first launch date, July 17th, had to be pushed back slightly due to issues not related to the rover itself, but NASA still fully intends on launching the mission on time. Recently, the space agency suggests that even if new issues pop up, the launch window could be stretched as far as August 15th to ensure Perseverance makes it to Mars by 2021. So that was the end of that article. Let's see if I can get myself back on. Yes, you can see me, and I was totally slouching again. I'm so sorry. I'm a bad sloucher when I read. But yeah, so that was super fun, guys, and I have a couple more videos that I might end up knocking out tonight or tomorrow. But it's gonna be super informative. The next ones are going to be more biology based, more about longevity science, some really cool stuff. some cool bio stuff, the environment, things like that. So also, I would like to say that not only did I survive the 2017 eclipse, I survived the 2021, and so did you. So good for you, right? No crazy conspiracy, right? No 2012 thing happened. So it's really funny how many ideas there are out there, and I'm sure if my YouTube or whatever gets larger at some point, I'm gonna have some pretty crazy conspiracy nuts commenting on my videos for various topics I talk about, where somehow science is entangled into these honestly, they're like almost schizophrenic ideas, but I know it's bound to happen, and I'm looking forward to how hilarious they're going to be. But yeah, I will say that regardless of anything, it was a little bit scary to learn about more black holes near the center of our galaxy, because black holes scare the poo out of me. I don't know about you, but black holes are really, really scary. But luckily we're not that close. And it was an interesting article, and definitely looking forward to more discoveries in that front. Either way, it doesn't matter if something scares me. I like to learn, so gotta learn about it, right? And that's why we also end up talking about the virus sometimes on here, is because yes, there's some scary things about it, and very scary, and we have to face. I think it's very important that we as a collective and humans face the truth rather than run away from it, because if we run away from it, how can we we'll eventually run into it anyway. We'll run straight head first into it. So don't run away. Run towards it so that at least you can be looking at it and avoid it, right? You can veer around it. Don't accidentally hit your head on a brick wall. So yeah. Anyway, hope you guys have been well and staying safe and all of that. Hope you enjoyed. I like doing these. They're very fun. I don't have time to maybe write my own scripts for them, so it helps to just kind of read the articles. It makes it faster and easier for me. So maybe eventually when I have more time, but hope you guys have a good day or night or whatever time it is for you in the world. Ta-ta.